A hush had fallen over the school hallway that morning, the kind of eerie quiet that crawls beneath the skin, moments before disaster strikes. There she stood, Eve Donovan, 16, small-framed, pale as porcelain under flickering fluorescent lights, her fingers clutching her backpack straps like a lifeline. Eyes followed her like she was prey. This was not the first time shadows gathered at her feet. This was the morning everything changed, when a quiet girl, broken 1,000 times, would unleash a strength that would shake the world like UFC 319. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and rising stronger, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Ripple of Hope. Your support fuels these stories. Eve wasn't always a target. Once, she was a bright flame, laughter flooding her parents' living room, cheeks rosy from afternoons spent riding bikes and chasing dreams. But after her mother's illness strangled the joy from their home and medical bills swallowed whole her father's smile, Eve shifted schools, tumbling into a new world where her soft voice and thrift store uniform marked her as different. The moment she stepped through the tall iron gates of Harrison High, whispers began. It didn't take long for those whispers to grow teeth. At the top of the social ladder stood Brittany Reed, a statuesque blonde with polished nails, powerful parents, and a smile sharpened into a weapon. She was everything Eve wasn't, loud, adored, terrifying. Alongside her were her sycophants, Keisha, tall and cat-eyed, crowned by gossip, and Madison, thin, sharp, with a relentless hunger for cruelty. Together, they were untouchable. To them, Eve was entertainment. It started with isolated remarks, a muttered charity case, a snicker as Eve walked past, head down. Then came the accidental spills on homework, cruel messages etched in chalk on her locker, and laugh tracks erupting behind her when she tripped over carefully placed shoelaces in the hallway. The teachers at Harrison High seemed conveniently blind. Eve's father, juggling 3 jobs and his crumbling heart, never saw the bruises behind her long sleeves. But the torment didn't stop at the school gates. Online, they built a digital arena. Anonymous edits of her face distorted into ugly cartoons, hashtags like #WeirdEve, videos of her missteps set to mocking soundtracks, they spread like wildfire on social media. Thousands watched, laughed, reacted. Eve shrank deeper into herself. She stopped humming, stopped dreaming, stopped raising her hand in class. The world became dull, gray, suffocating. She felt invisible and somehow painfully exposed, a ghost trapped inside her own skin. Until one evening, while scrolling through her cracked phone screen, she stumbled upon an MMA highlight clip, UFC 319. Fighters, locked in cages, pounded by opponents twice their size, and yet, they rose. Again. And again. Bloody, bruised, unbroken. There was something fierce and holy in it, rebellion made flesh. Suddenly, something inside her flickered. Why do I keep letting them win? She thought, palms sweaty, heart rattling. What if I fought back, not with violence, but with strength? The next day, she walked into school not as a ghost, but as a storm waiting to happen. She printed every hateful message, captured every video, screenshot every threat. She began meticulously documenting everything, building a case like a soldier preparing for war. She raised her chin slightly higher, shoulders squared. She didn't retaliate with words or tears. She let them think she was still breaking. But inside, something molten was forming. Then, one morning, as Brittany and her entourage planned their biggest humiliation yet, dumping a bucket of spoiled milk from the second floor onto Eve, a hidden camera captured it all. Eve didn't fight the sticky flood. She raised her eyes right into those laughing faces, and smiled. That same night, Eve created a powerful video. It wasn't angry. It wasn't bitter. It was raw. She showed the world the torment behind that school's pristine walls. Without naming names, she told her story, shaky voice, tearful eyes, splicing in bruised elbows, hateful screenshots, the milk cascading like an exorcism. At the end, she added footage from UFC 319, overlaying her whisper, "I am done being a victim. I will rise." She posted it with a simple caption, "For anyone who has ever felt powerless." The internet exploded. Millions viewed. Thousands commented, "Fight back, Queen, we stand with you," and, "Harrison High, explain this." Reporters camped outside the school gates. Parents threatened lawsuits. Sponsors demanded answers. Under public pressure, the school launched an investigation. Brittany, Keisha, and Madison were suspended indefinitely. The video made evening news. And quiet Eve Donovan was now hailed as a symbol of resistance. But that wasn't the real victory. The victory was inside. For the first time, Eve slept without nightmares. She walked through hallways without shrinking. She joined a local mixed martial arts gym, wrapping her hands, training in silence until sweat stung her eyes and sorrow transformed into strength. Punch by punch, kick by kick, she rewrote her story. The girl they called pathetic was now a warrior in the making, forged by cruelty, fueled by hope. Over the next months, Harrison High changed. The silent kids began raising their voices. An anti-bullying council was formed, spearheaded by Eve herself. She spoke at assemblies, her once timid voice now carrying like thunder across gym walls. She told them how it felt to be crushed, ridiculed, destroyed, and how it felt to stand again. Her story spread to schools across the country, a tale whispered from classroom to classroom. "Have you heard about the girl who fought back like UFC 319? Brittany Reed, once queen of cruelty, watched from the shadows as Eve soared. She tried a written apology. Eve read it, then simply said, 'I hope you find kindness the way I had to fight for mine.' She meant every word. Because forgiveness, she realized, wasn't weakness, it was the final, brutal victory. Life didn't become perfect. Her mother still battled illness. Her father still worked tirelessly. But Eve had reclaimed her fire. She was no longer defined by trauma, she was defined by how she had risen through it. People asked her how she survived. She always smiled, eyes glinting with warm steel, and answered, "I stopped letting their voices drown out my own." And so, from the soft ashes of despair, a legend bloomed, not of a victim, but of a fighter. A reminder that even when the world shoves you to your knees, you can rise, fists clenched, heart blazing, and fight back harder than anyone ever expected. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Ripple of Hope. Your engagement helps us continue sharing powerful stories of courage and transformation.